Welcome in, Toysy. How you doing, dude? I am just sharing that I'm live. I hope you're doing well today. We'll be going at it here in just a second. Teaching has been going well. Yeah, it's also been a busy week for me. Just keeping on, you know? How have things been going for you? How has school been going for you, Toysy? And what is going to be difficult about um, school? Ah, I see. So are you in your senior year of college or high school currently? That is fair. All right. I'm pretty sure I've shared everywhere that I can or need to, so we're gonna go ahead and I realize I have the wrong thing open. Great. Okay. There we go. Now we have the right file open. Also, you, I mean, you are and you aren't young. You are young to me, but at the same time, I fully understand and I remember what it's like to be at that age. You're just like, oh man, everything's going on and all this. So yeah, don't beat yourself up over that. Nah, that makes sense that you're stressed and excited for stuff. All right, let's go. Yeah, dude, it's totally fine to just be listening and watching in the background. If you have any questions, as I think you know by now, you are more than welcome to ask, and I'll answer them. All right. So we are currently in the process again of getting all the different um, algae, not algae, but like seaweed and foliage like that in. And for all of you guys who are watching, as a reminder, if you have any questions at all as I do this, just feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer any and all questions that you might have. We are going to lighten up that area just so that it's easier for me to see all that down there as I work on it. Ooh, that's nice. So I got this energy drink yesterday. It is a plant-based energy drink. It is guava strawberry, and it tastes really good. I'd say this part is probably going to be the part that, well, like, is simpler than the fish, is going to take longer, mainly because of the fact that, like, the fish, once we got one of them in, we were able to more easily, like, copy and paste and distort. It's more difficult to do that with things like plants and all that because of the, I like to call it, they are perfectly imperfect. There is this perfection to them, but at the same time, they are, yeah, not perfect at all. More bright coral. Welcome back, Boise. By all means, I'd love for you to draw along with me. Welcome in, Haley. I'm glad you've been looking forward to it. Also, I appreciate the sub and here on YouTube. Did you and the little one go to the aquarium this week? If so, how was it? Aquariums are cool. I love both zoos and aquariums. All right, Monday. That is fun. Our students here are currently they're doing a fun day with the students today, and they're at the zoo. Some of them were asking if I was going to be going with, and I was like, no. You guys enjoy. I'm going to be streaming. It has been fun though, this week as I have been working on some other art that I have to do for work. I started watching the Netflix Our Planet docu-series. Uh, really enjoying it so far. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I like it. There's definitely parts of it that are really sad. Um, but it's good. And it's a great thing. Like, I love having it on in the background. I need to look up and find where I can watch Blue Planet. Here's a cool one about prehistoric life up to now. Awesome. What is that one called? That makes sense. Um, I think one of the reasons why I enjoy docuseries is because of the fact that I'm also like, while it is calming, there's also an aspect of me learning with it as well. So I also often listen to educational type books or self-improvement books. So if you guys ever need book recommendations or things like that on like art or like productivity and things like that, I'm always happy to share things that I have enjoyed or things that I'm going through. Tasting History with Max Mueller. I will have to check that one out. So, out of curiosity, with the um, tasting history, is that is it called tasting history because of the fact that they are creating food and things like that from different time periods? The thickest fog you've ever seen on Toy. Um, and so that's a question for you guys. Do you guys enjoy fog? Do you enjoy rain? What sort of weather do you guys enjoy? I am someone who very much enjoys both rain and snow. Um, I enjoy cooler weather, especially when I'm able to have a warm beverage and being able to be um, in the sort of like area where I can watch it and it's relaxed. So when you say blistering heat, to me, I feel like desert type weather, which is often dry heat, or do you mean like tropical weather as well? So like humid heats and all that. All right, I'll have to check out Tasting History with Max Mill then. As someone who enjoys cooking and baking, that sounds like something up my alley. Um, Whenever I'm finally able to get my own place, that is actually something I would like to do is occasional cooking or baking streams. You're a person who sweats easily, so it's the bane of your existence. That makes sense. Um, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily that I sweat overly easy, but um, I've always been someone who prefers the cold over the hot. And my reasoning for that has always been I've always explained it this way, which I find amusing, which is if it's cold, I can always put on more layers. If it's hot, I can only strip down so much before I get arrested for public indecency. Oh, where I live in Osaka, Japan, and yes, it gets extremely hot here. My parents, who are used to heat, they live in the Mediterranean. Um, we're here in August, and they were like, "Nah, this is too hot." Yeah, no, I fully understand that, Haley. I will say that is one thing there's not a lot that I overly miss about Indiana, but those times where it would snow, especially like on campus and all that, and like getting to walk in at night with lights flickering around you and the snow gently falling, music playing. There's just something very the word magical comes to my mind, but it's not that. It's so calming and so like it's almost as if the world has stopped and it's just you and this calm, cool moment. And you're right, there's something about that is, yes, serene. And it's a wonderful feeling. Um, in that same vein, I love sitting by windows with a book or my sketch pad and a cup of like hot tea, or sometimes it's hot chocolate, but especially hot teas. And getting to like watch the like whether it's snow falling or um, like rain, just like the pitter patter of that rain up against the tut 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 window and all that. Um, it's really lovely. Now we have the fun part of, well, fun. Now we have the part where we need to go in here and clean up these lines. Sounds good. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, we are just working on the art as usual. Um, Out of curiosity, I mean, I have a Discord server you're welcome to join. Um, if you're needing to get in touch or anything like that. Um, but probably won't be just adding you. Well, I appreciate both of you, Toasty and Ailey. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying this process. I also very much enjoy getting to stream it because of the fact that um, there's also the element of this that I have a form of accountability with these then. Especially when I know people are enjoying it, um, it can be very easy sometimes for me to go, I don't really need to stream. Why should I stream or things like that? But yeah, knowing that there are people who are going, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this part of the week, um, is an encouragement, and it helps me to go, okay, I can do it. I can hit the go live button and start the stream. Because as with most things, the most difficult part is starting. That's one of the reasons why once I had this sketch, actually going live and doing this hasn't, like, as a whole, hasn't been overly difficult. And again, a large portion of that has to do with the fact that I'm coming into this knowing what I need to do. I'm not sitting there twiddling my thumbs going, okay, what's next? What am I drawing? What am I doing? It's very straightforward for me. And so it's the aspect at this point of showing up, of saying, okay, I can hop on here, I can actually do this, and I know what I'm doing and not having to figure it out. That also definitely helps. You love Sarden? Dofi, oh, out of curiosity, are you talking about like the fish? Like sardines? Okay, cool. Doing well. How are you doing? Also, welcome in. I see that you are a first chatter. This is someone that I should know who it is. I apologize. Yeah, thank you for coming and hanging out. And sardines making you hungry. I wish I could say the same, but unfortunately, they are not a personal favorite of mine. Hey, Toysy, welcome to the Discord, by the way. So yes and no to not using AI. I do not use AI in my art, like in terms of like image generation. However, I do use AI when ideating and brainstorming. When I'm trying to come up with an idea, I will usually use AI as a way to prompt it to give me some, like, to list out some different things that I could do. And then I look at that, and that helps kickstart my brain into coming up with different things. Um, it's because I often don't have any of my art friends to be able to just bounce ideas back and forth with. Um, and so for that, AI has been an amazingly wonderful tool. Um, but yes, I still create all the art and like uh, the composition and everything myself. Yeah, no, I think even with um, if for people, um, again, as a whole, my take with AI stuff is I actually don't have a problem with AI image generation. My problem with AI image generating is two things. One, it is people who have begun to call themselves AI artists because, one, you are not the artist behind this. Just because you prompted it and gave and generated it does not make you the artist. In the same way that when I have someone who commissions me and they are doing the exact same thing. They are telling me what they want to see. They're telling me what they're wanting out of this image. There is a process involved of going back and forth. The same, honestly, the same thing as when people generate images with AI. However, there is a higher level of control when there's an actual artist behind it. But the person who commissioned that, who you worked with the artist, is not the artist. In the same way as the person who generates an image using AI is not the artist. So that's my first problem. The second problem that I have with AI image generation, again, is not the generating the image part. It is where how the AI was trained. A large majority of AI, I would say about 95% of it at this point, has been trained off of art and images that they did not have permission to train it off. And that is what I have a problem with. If they were using images that they had the rights for, or images that were in the public domain that they could use freely, I would not have a problem with this. However, they have not been using that. Yes, AI is great for recipes. Actually, um, the other week, for I was cooking for a very large number of people, and I went on to ChatGPT and I just said, hey, this is the sort of meal I would like to prepare. Um, this again, I can tell it where, like, it knows I'm here in Japan, and I can say, hey, I would like to be able to cook this at as low of a budget as possible. What ingredients or what should I be getting to make this doable? And how much roughly am I looking at in terms of costs? And I asked it, and then I kept track of it afterwards, and I looked at the cost of everything, and it was about 500 yen off, which is extremely good, because again, I would say, for getting a ballpark, it's amazing. So yeah, Dofi, AI is a tool. I will say with art, just AI and pencil won't make art by themselves, correct. However, with a pencil, there is still an aspect of it that you have to go into it and take time to learn a skill, and to take time to be able to get to that point where you can create what you are wanting to. Without it, whereas AI again is more so something that it is using things that have already been created, and so that's where I have a problem with it, in terms of the image generating aspect. Also, I don't have a problem with AI in any capacity being used. My biggest problem as well is the area of it being used as a final product, though. I do not think AI should be used as a final product, especially if you're ideating or working on writing or image generation, anything like that. It should never be a final product. It should be a starting point, if anything, and then using that to take it and work with that. If you allow it to become a crutch that you need for being able to create something, and like, you're sitting there going, oh, I don't know what to do, and you're constantly needing AI to tell you, it's not a good thing at that point. In the same vein that like any sort of substance at that point, I would say it's an addiction. Or a crutch, and it's in the same vein as needing a substance. Like, if you're going, I want to go out, but I can't go out without being intoxicated or having alcohol in my system, that's a problem. And so we need to be able to learn to cope without those things, to work without those aspects. Again, it doesn't mean that that thing in itself is inherently bad, but using it as that crutch or not being able to do something without it, that is not a good thing. I mean, again, that's great. I am glad that you're being able to utilize things in that manner. Again, great. Play the system. You are doing that. But there will come a time, more likely than not, when some of this is not going to work in that same way, where AI, if we rely too much on AI and continue to generate things with AI and don't tweak any things ourselves, what is going to happen is it is going to get too large and it's going to start consuming itself. And there's already been examples of when AI consumes itself, um, the results that it starts to have are really weird, and it's really unfortunate, and it evolves into this area of just an absolute mess. And so AI, to be able to work as it does, it still needs humans. It still needs human input to be able to learn. But if we get so used to just relying on AI for everything, and we're outputting with just AI and not using it as a starting point, then we will get to a point where, like the basilisk, it will begin to consume itself. And that's not a great thing. You can't AI generate a scientific essay. Correct. So, Dofi, if you're not even happy with your life, what would you like to be doing? What would allow you to be happy? You sketch too? Okay, well, so here's what I would say. If you're able to utilize things to essentially, like what you're saying, playing the system to be able to make things work for you, in a sense, like using AI to post on places like TikTok or other things like that, and to be able to monetize that in a way that allows you to be able to pursue some of these other things that you have a passion in, and it's giving you the space to actually learn and create without worry or burden. I think that is a lovely thing. Um, but again, I think if you're just relying too heavily on AI in the long run, like eventually there will be things that happen or things that change that make it where it might be more difficult. And I do think that there was an image that, like a video that I saw that someone posted about, where a little skit that is amusing to an extent, but I think there's a lot of truth behind it. Which was, someone goes to the movies and they say, "Hey, I'd like a ticket to a movie," and the person goes, "Oh, would you like a like a human one or a AI one?" And the guy's like, "Oh, a human one." And the guy goes, "Okay, that'll be $3,000 for a ticket." And he's like, "What?" It's like, "Okay, AI." And then he goes, "All right, well, would you like that with ads or without ads?" And he goes, "Without ads." And he goes, "Okay, that'll be $40 for a ticket, please." He goes, "Okay, I guess I'll have it with ads." And he's like, "Okay, that will be $6 for a ticket." And he goes, and then, like, with the entire screen, the very middle, very tiny portion of it is actually the movie. The rest of it is constantly filled with ads and things like that. And it's that it's humorous to an extent, but it is at the current rate of how things are going, it's a direction in which we're headed, which is a very unfortunate direction to be headed. As a creative, one of the things that actually really frustrates me and saddens me at the same time is um what you call it, it is corporations like Disney. Because Disney as a corporation is large enough where they have the money to be able to um, have originality, but instead they're so focused on the quick dollar, the quick money grab, that they have gotten to a point of inoriginality. That is why we're having things like um, all these movie remakes. Again, that's not saying like I don't understand why they're doing movie remakes. Again, they're playing off of nostalgia. They're playing off of these areas of parents who saw films when they were children and now wanting to relive those experiences with their kids. I understand why they are doing it. However, people watch it, and then what inevitably ends up happening is they go back. Most people, after watching that one thing, go back to the original. Um, a really good example of this is Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch as a whole, the live action wasn't bad, but it's not good either. There's a lot that was lost in translation from animation to live action. Or live action, there's still a lot of CGI, because CGI is animation as well. There's a lot that's lost, and so it's one of those things where I watched it once, it was all right for a one-time watch, but if I want to watch Lilo and Stitch in the future, I'm going to be going and rewatching the animated one. I don't have a desire to go back and watch the live action one. Like, it was fine for the one time, but again, that's why I say a quick grab. Whereas when you have things where it is an original idea, again, we see that with things like Frozen. Frozen did extremely well. And when people are given the freedom to actually, and the resources to actually create, and the backing to not just say, oh yeah, it's a quick cash grab, and Disney actually supports it, you know what happens is they work really well. But then you have a lot of things like their new movie, I think it's Elio. I will watch it at some point, but I don't think there's a lot of people who are super familiar with the movie, because again, Disney has not promoted it in the same way that they promoted the live action remakes, ones that they know from the past have had a successful, so they're putting all their money back into that. So it takes a long, just so you're aware, Haley, it takes a long time for it to enter into the public domain. I believe it's about 75 years. The easiest thing for them to do is, at that point, is to make a remastered edition. If they make a remastered edition, re-release it, that I would say, if they are wanting to make sure that they keep copyright, going in, cleaning things up, re-releasing it that way is a smarter idea, and honestly less costly than the live action remakes. Anyways, so that is my little rant on AI originality and all that good stuff. So what I will say in regards to, um, also, because I hadn't mentioned, because I was in the middle of my rant. Also, Paul, thank you for the lurk. I hope you're doing well, dude. Um, the one movie that I really, 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 really hope that they just leave in its superior art form in terms of animation and all that, because if they do this, it would just be a CGI mess, I believe, is Treasure Planet. I really, really don't want them to make a live action Treasure Planet. Live action. Because we all know that a majority of that film is going to be CGI. Same as with Atlantis: The Lost Empire. We don't need a live action version of Atlantis. We don't need a live action version of The Road to El Dorado. None of these films need a air quote live action version. So, my area with Hercules is the reason I don't include that is because of the fact that Hercules is mythology. Um, the same thing goes with something like Prince of Egypt, things like that, because those are stories that are based off of like history or pre-existing mythology. I don't have a problem with someone reinterpreting those stories into a live action film. However, I don't want a shot-by-shot remake in a live action format of any of these animated films. Like, honestly, I don't know of many people who do want that. But yeah, in terms of it almost being soup season, yes. Um, the temperature is slowly dropping here, and it is getting cooler. I would need 1 second. I need to see what it is in Fahrenheit, as I am now at a point where I'm used to using Celsius. For those who are curious, though, currently here it is 23 degrees Celsius, which, if we switch it into Fahrenheit, that is 74 degrees Fahrenheit. In terms of favorite soups, though, again, being in Japan, I love my udons and my ramens. I especially love udon. Udon, I feel like, is a much lighter soup. It is not as heavy as ramen. I love ramen, but it can often be very heavy. I think at this point, with like specifically something like the Prince of Egypt, well, I think I would be more interested instead of a live action film is if they took it and put it into a Broadway form. I think that would be my exception to a live action remake of some of these things, especially if they are more musically inclined. Is instead of it being a film, doing it in the form of like a musical or something like that. Because I say that more in the sense of often when it comes down to a live action remake, these companies tend to get fixated on the how well the animated films or the predecessors did, that they go, oh, they need to be more or less identical. And you're like, no, if you're going to do something, like, still make it your own. And this is the difficulty with a film, because either they make it their own and people get upset because it is different from the original, or they do it too close and people go, there's no originality in this. Whereas if you do something like a Broadway play, there's enough of there's a degree of separation of it, um, that people allow for something to be its own thing. They have a Broadway of it. Okay, I was not aware of that. It shows you how in the loop I am with things like Prince of People. But yeah, so a example of this being The Lion King. You just it's just shot by shot the same exact thing. The difference is with a CGI film, the animals do not emote in the same way that the traditional animation does, and so you lose this sense of character. But then at the same time, Lilo and Stitch, again, as a whole, it deviated enough that they did well at becoming its own thing. But because of you having a predecessor, my biggest complaint with that film was Jamba. The voicing for Jamba growing up, knowing that voice and that very Slavic sound that he has to his voice, and then just hearing Zach Galifianakis's voice instead is just one of the, for me it felt jarring, especially with the fact that you have the same exact voice actor for Stitch. They did fine with Pleakley. But yeah, the joys of the entertainment industry. Also, I will just remind and reiterate to people about next week. Um, as a reminder, I will not be streaming next week. In all honesty, there's a very high chance what the streaming schedule for the next couple weeks will be is next week we won't stream, the following week I'll stream, and then the next following week after that we won't stream again. Um, so just so you guys are aware of kind of the schedule and timeline for things. Yeah, I have a friend from Philippines visiting next week, and so, well, she arrives later this week, but yeah, so I will be out showing her around, spending time with her here, um, and then the week after that, I will more likely than not be up in Tokyo, helping out with our school here. They're taking our students up um, to a high school that I was at last year with our students, and so yes, I will be coloring this on stream. Um, you don't need to worry. Everything for this piece will only be done on stream. All right, so then we're gonna go here. Alright, there we go. The other school has been added in. Go ahead and merge those selected layers. Because that way we already have everything there. And that's what I wanted to do before I added that in, was just make sure that all of those were there so that it would be an easy add. I will say it will be fun once we do start the coloring process, figuring out what color all the different corals and the different uh, fish and everything like that will be. 1 second. So my parents came and visited this August. However, I did spend time with family for Christmas because my parents are currently living in Turkey, where my parents are running an international arts association, and they do like gallery shows and things like that. It's a lot of fun. And so we had all, as a family, gone and spent Christmas in Turkey with them, which was great. It's the first time we did Christmas as a family in like 6 years, I think it was. So I was very thankful for that. Yeah. Since then, I haven't seen them in person since then. I mean, I video call with them and all that, to be able to see my niece and nephew. Oh, 1 second. Let me respond to this. Oh, wrong thing. Wrong camera. Out of curiosity, Haley, do you keep up with anyone from our time at uni together? Yeah, my sister, brother-in-law, and their family live in North Carolina, right near Raleigh, Durham, actually. My parents are actually in the process of figuring out if they are going to be continuing to stay in Turkey or if they're going to be moving back stateside soon, I think, as well. There's a lot of differing factors, but part of it is my grandmother on my dad's side is slowly declining. I mean, she's in her 80s and lives alone still. But my parents are the ones who are going, hey, we don't want our parents to be put into like assisted living homes. If it means that they need to go and live with their parents, they would rather do that than put them in assisted living. And so my grandmother's at a point where she's needing a bit more help. And so, yeah, they're at a point where they're just figuring out what is next for them. I was not aware that he had passed. That saddens me to hear. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think with our interactions between Instagram and like you hopping in on streams and all that. I think I keep up with you the most. And I tried keeping up with Kaylee some, but not really the easiest person to keep up with. I don't know. Half the time I also just, I'm unsure of what to talk with her about. But I still bring you guys up a lot in conversations here. Because I have talked about my time at uni a good amount with people. Very fondly. Yeah. Well, hey there. How's it going, D? Welcome in, my guy. I appreciate you being here. It has been a minute since we have chatted. How are you doing? And yes, your first Ian stream. I have been off and on working on these. I play Magic the Gathering, and so I have this basic land card that I am working on. This is for an island. I've been working on all the different land cards. I'll take a moment, show you what we've been doing. All right. There you go. So I did a basic forest. So we have this one here that is our basic forest with squirrels. And then after that, I did a basic swamp also with squirrels. So we have that one there. And now we are on to the basic island. How's work been going for you, and how's the comic? I enjoy seeing your stuff with rosebuds. Yeah, all of them. I have it. So I have a squirrel deck, and it started as me just drawing lands with squirrels in them. So like you have this one here where there is a squirrel floating in an open coconut shell. And I posted it on Reddit and got a lot of good feedback, and I had a lot of people that went, I want like lands like these, do more. And so here we are, me doing more lands. So yeah. Also, the next time I am in the States and I'm passing through Indiana, we 100% need to make a point to get together and hang out, because we have been online friends for too long. We need to make an in-person connection at some point. Oh, one thing I do think you'll appreciate here. Let me grab it. It's on my bed. I sleep with it. I got a massive Kirby. Massive Kirby plush. I know you'll appreciate that. And yeah, I am eagerly awaiting us being able to hang out and actually meet in person as well. I'll try and make a point to have a little bit of a longer time in Indiana next time. Maybe I'll go stay with my cousin. Or I guess Haley, if you're also in Indiana, I can, if you got room, I could come stay with you as well. Come visit and hang out for a day or two. I don't know. Last time I was in the States, I don't know if you remember, Haley, the anime club I was a part of at Indiana Wesleyan. But there was two girls, Danielle and Mandy. I think it was Matt. Yeah, anyways, Danielle I've kept in touch with, and I met up with the two of them and their husbands last time I was in the States, because when I was 3 years ago now, in 2022, I was in the States and at Gen Con. So I was in Indy for several days, and so they came and visited Gen Con, and then we went out for dinner because I was at Gen Con with the company that I was working with at the time. Unfortunately, that company no longer exists. Well, not fully anyways. It was one of those things where the owners of it basically were of the mindset of they were only going to keep going as long as it was fun, and the moment it became more work related and like they felt like they need to do things because it was like they needed to keep things going, they were going to stop, and it got to that point. But yeah, and you still live in that same city, man. That was actually something I did mention to some people like a few weeks ago, was when Kayla and I came and we worked for the fair, and we worked in the haunted house. That's still a fond memory of mine. Here, I need to look up sea snail. Need to add a little sea snail here because, what's a group of loose SpongeBob references without a sea snail in there as well? We have our starfish, sea sponge, pineapple, sea snail, crab, and octopus now. So there we go. How is living in Japan? It's great. I love it. I am with the Christian nonprofit I work for. I have been given the green light and okay to slowly start working towards starting up an art studio in Kyoto. So I'm really excited about that prospect, to be able to, like, again, I know that you're aware of how isolating and lonely being an artist can be at times. And so my heart is with like an art studio space is to create an area where there are people who are in the studio throughout the week working, and that we have additional tables basically so that anyone can come in free of charge and just have others to work around. There will be, of course, some general like guidelines and things like that, like, hey, we understand that people create all different types of art, but we would request that if you are in here working, that you're not working on things like erotic art or things like that in that nature, but just that people have a space where that they can come in and that they can be around other creatives, that they have people that they can have as a community, because there's already this difficulty of building community here in Japan, and even more so I feel like with building a creative community. I've been very fortunate to find different groups. I'm part of a Osaka art meetup group. So every so often we meet up at a cafe and just hang out for a few hours, do art all together. And it's the same sort of thing as like this stream here, where I am sitting here just drawing and chatting with you guys. It's that same sort of vibe, but instead we have everyone's sitting there doing art and hanging out together. And so yeah, I want to create a space that provides that on a more regular basis. And so the area that I want to create that in is right near the Kyoto University of the Fine Arts, and that way that university students, especially people who are still figuring out what their artistic journey is going to look like, have a space to be able to, one, have fellowship, but two, have people who have been doing art hopefully longer can come in, and that they can have some form of mentorship or just communication and help and guidance in anything that they're doing. because I know that that sort of thing for me is something that uh, that I would have loved at that age. Penner Zaza. Stream is super chill. Love the vibes, not gonna lie. You drop a Discord so people can keep it going after the stream. Well, you were in here long enough that you chatted and it popped up. So yeah, there you go. There's the Discord. You are welcome to join. My server is a bit of a quiet server, mainly because of the fact that I was streaming more consistently a few years ago, and then now I am streaming often. Like I stream once a week currently, but it is not consistent enough that a large community has been developed. But you are more than welcome to join the Discord. There are channels for people to share art. There are channels for people to share photography or chat. And if you're ever going, hey, I'm playing a game and you want people to join, you can always post about it. I want it to be a safe space and a fun place for anyone. But yeah, so I hope that answers some of your questions about how things have been going. It's been good as a whole, though. Definitely miss friends and family stateside, but Japan has very much become home for me, and I love it here. And I am constantly grateful that I get to live this life where I am here and getting to pour into others, into other artists. Hopefully at some point I get you over here as well, and I get to take you around and show you things, because that would be cool. Because I definitely know a few places that you would enjoy outside of the Nintendo museum and Nintendo stuff. So out of curiosity, what would need to happen for Rosebuds to be able to get into Japanese markets? Because you're a lot more aware of like the syndication side of things and all that, and like what that probably looks like in other countries. I am not. I do a lot of, again, self-published stuff. I see. So you basically just need to start getting it out there. Okay. For now, this is legitimately something that would help. I mean, I'm sure you know this, but use ChatGPT and translate your scripts into Japanese, and then from there you can it would be so much more easy to start getting that following. And legitimately, I have, like, anytime I run things through ChatGPT, I've checked, and like for social media and all that, I have Japanese friends I check with and just been like, hey, is this accurate? Is this right? And I don't tell them usually it's from ChatGPT, and I'm just like, is this right for what I'm trying to say? And they're like, oh, this is perfect. Good job. And I'm like, cool. So currently speaking, ChatGPT is a wonderful resource for translation. And that would be a really good way to start creating some of that interest and getting people engaged, is using Japanese. I will say it can be difficult sometimes to garner a Japanese audience, mainly because of the fact that Japanese people
If you'd rather get an actual translator, do that as well. I'm just giving you um, an an option in terms of like that, like you could start doing things more immediately. But yeah, yes, peanuts is huge over here. I don't know how peanuts became so huge in Asia, but peanuts is huge here in Japan. It's huge in Taiwan and Korea. Like all three of those areas, when I've been there, there are peanut stores everywhere. You go to Arashiyama, which is the where the bamboo forest is here, and there is like right as you're entering into the bamboo forest area, there's a peanut store actually. Um, so yes, it is very popular and large. I think a big portion of that happens to be Snoopy because Japanese people and in Asia in general, here in Asia, they love cute things. I mean, you see that again with um what you can call it, with like Hello Kitty and Sanrio, is their love for the cute. I was not aware that there's a Peanuts museum here. That is really cool. I'm gonna have to look into that. My guess is it's probably up in Tokyo though. Yes, there's a Snoopy museum up in Tokyo. Okay. How far is it away from Ueno Park? Ooh. That's really far. Okay. It is technically in Tokyo, but it is right on the it more or less it would be in Yokohama. It is very far from downtown Tokyo. It's closer to like it's closer to downtown Yokohama than it is to downtown Tokyo. 1 second, you guys. Well, D, if you ever do need someone, like, want to find a translator for Japanese, let me know, as I have some friends that I can always reach out to and see if that would be something they would be interested in, and I can get you in touch with them. Okay, I will reach out to my language helper and see if that is something that he would be interested in, because I know as a whole it would be lighter work. If not, one of my coworkers might actually be good at that as well. Both of whom are Japanese, and like native Japanese, and also speak English. Out of curiosity, do you ever go to conventions or things like that with Rosebuds?
Haley, I just saw your Discord profile picture and I love it. Absolutely love it. Out of curiosity, D, what is the best way to reach out to you in chat? Like whether it is just catching up or messaging. Again, I'm fine if it's Messenger. That's what we've usually used in the past. I know that like for work and just a majority of stuff, I also use Discord a lot. That's also like what I have here. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll reach out to some of my friends and ask about if they would be interested or know someone who'd be good at the translation side of stuff. Because I as well would love to see you succeeding with rosebuds here in Japan. It's always fun when I'm online and every once in a while I see like someone do fan art of Maria or something like that. And I always enjoy that. I'm like, oh, I know the guy. He's my friend. For me, it is, again, it's just been so much fun seeing where it started with Kuromi and now all the way to Rosebuds. And just, yeah, that determination and that your willingness to keep going and stick things out.
It's really cool and definitely very inspiring. You need fan art from me? Yeah, I can make that happen. Out of curiosity, what would you enjoy seeing? I get that. I get Rosebud's fan art. I guess my question is, what character? Is there a certain character where you're like, yes, or like, I specifically would love to see your take on this character, um, or like, oh, this one doesn't get enough love. I'd love for there to be some love for this character. My favorite. Okay. I mean, I love all of them. But yes, okay. Sounds good. Actually, right down here, I'm going to add a few of these little, like, add some of these little guys that are like those little, like, worms that hop out of the sand. You know the little sea snakes I'm talking about? Like, they're like little, like, they almost look like, from a distance, like the sand. Gotta add some of them. The spotted garden, that might be what they are, yeah. Little spotted garden eels. These little guys down here.
I mean, I could always add one, but the Alaskan bullworm isn't always like something that's super like I feel like it's not as necessarily like something that people would like quickly recognize and notice at part like I don't want it to be in your face of like SpongeBob, but that's where it's like I'm including the things but more as like what their natural forms would be. That's why the sponge over here is a sea sponge and not just your normal square sponge. Like your not normal square, but like your cleaning sponge. Alright. Let's look at that. Okay. I'm going to do a sea crate. All right, so we have our this other coral here now. The little sea serpent in it. I have to chill out a little bit. I have to remind myself that that this is going to be small when it actually prints. About that size. Let me check. Do I have the cards? Yeah, I do. No, I mean I can always do this. I guess this works. A little bit. Let's do it. We'll zoom in a little bit. Is that about right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So that's the size we're looking at. Okay. There's a lot of detail, but it's okay. Yeah, dude, I love Clip Studio Paint. I've been using Clip Studio Paint since it was Manga Studio. I have told so many people to use Clip Studio Paint. It's like I've converted so many people. There's this pushback initially, and then they try it out and they go, "Wow, this is amazing. Why have I not used this before?" I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah. Because I have some friends who go, well, I don't want to be doing like it's now a subscription service and all this. I'm just like, it's really not. I mean, yes, if you're using it on a tablet, it is. But the nice thing is, for me, as someone who does a lot of art like on my computer, first of all, I have people like friends who use Procreate and they're like, Procreate's the best. Procreate's good. I don't think it's the best. And the reason for that is I can draw on my tablets with Clip Studio Paint and then transfer it to my computer and have everything be intact. The and therefore the integration and the workspace like that is created makes it so much more versatile. I love it. I think if things like Procreate were like, hey, we are providing a professional model that is for computers, so that and outside of just on Apple, where you can access it and you can start working on it on multiple different platforms, I think a lot more people will be open to the idea of something like Procreate. But as it stands currently, that is not the case. So fun to see. All right, let's go ahead and just do this. But yeah, I will say with Clip Studio as well, I love the accessibility in terms of like, especially for like digital illustration and also comics, the fact that it's so simple for me to go in and create comics and like comic panels and things like that in Clip Studio. It's great. So D, if you're in here still,
with Clip Studio Paint, I'm curious. When you go and do like things like inking and all that, do you use a default brush, or is there a specific brush that you like using? Is it like one of the default brushes, or is it something that you found and you're like, this is a really good brush, I like this? Because that's the one that I'm using right now. If I just go here, create a new thing, you can kind of see that it's a shape right here, which I really like. Like when you're using it and all that for stuff, because it's a shape that gives a nice edge to things. Like it gives a bit of a textured edge and all that, and I don't know, I really like it. So just curious if there is a specific sort of brush that you enjoy using, or you're just like, nah, just whatever brush I'm fine with. Okay, very cool. And that varying line weight, is it something where it is like based off of your pen pressure, or is it something where it just automatically varies the line weight for you? Okay, it's based out of pen pressure. Nice. Out of curiosity, was the default G pen in Clip Studio not doing that? Because I feel like it does it not? Or is this more of a fine-tuned one? Where it was more like susceptible to pen pressure. Okay, that's really cool. I always enjoy talking to other artists and creatives about like that sort of stuff, because sometimes you have people who are just like, oh yeah, I just use whatever brush, and then sometimes, especially for those of us who like you've gotten used to a specific style or things like that, or our art looks a certain way, to get our art to look a certain way, we use certain brushes and things like that to get it to emulate what we want. And so hearing some of those sides of things from people, I really enjoy. I think it's really cool to be able to go, okay, cool, this is what you're doing then. Ah, I see. So I have a lot of different brushes. These are like I have my list here of like these are my preferences. Um, and so like here we'll just do this. Um, just quickly. So like I have these here, like if I'm sketching and all that. Like I have brushes here that are oh, there we go. You can see here like brushes like this that are I enjoy these sort of things for sketching where I have this um like brushes like this as well. This stuff I really like this for sketching because it has that texture to it that helps my brain to associate things. Um, Part of the reason why I go with texture is because if things are too perfect, my brain, with it being digital, or like I have the uh, I have this right here, which is like a pencil brush. If things are too perfect, my brain just goes, no, we're not doing anything with that. And so I need things to be that are a little bit more that have like texture to them so that my brain actually allows me to make things that are messes and mistakes and all that. So like things like this as well. Like I love things that have this sort of texture to them. And then have like my coloring brush and all that. This is closer to that G pen nib and all that, but still not quite the same. You have the regular G pen over here that it would just be using higher. But yeah, it's all for me. It's all depending on that sort of stuff. Yeah, I have my this line brush 1 here, and usually what I then also do is I have it at a stabilization of 30. So what I did share before in my last stream, not here for, is like this sketch right here, like the drawing that I'm working on. What I often do is I start on paper. So I actually have a sketch right here of this piece. Now, granted, it's changed a lot. Like I added more once I digitized it, but yeah. I move things around a little bit and all that, but it makes it fun. But I'm glad that you have been able to find those different ways to help make your art feel more alive instead of static. Because those sort of things are important, especially with what you're doing with comics and all that, especially like the short form sequential art. Nice. I love that. I will say one of my favorite things to do is to actually just um, go in and look at what the uh, free pens are. Um, for what you call it, the free pens are currently in Clip Studio, the ones that like normally you have to pay for and all that. I mean, it's not like you have to pay a lot, but I enjoy seeing that and then testing things out and going, oh yeah, I like this one, or this one works well for something. I've gotten a lot of different things like that. I especially enjoy things like getting like things like this where it's a blood splatter, or yeah, that sort of stuff. It's nice to be able to have tools like that. Yes, the asset store. I love the asset store. Especially for like the 3D models and all that you can find. It's great.
All right. Getting a nice inclusion of that tentacle there. Hey, Chrissy. When you say you would enjoy uh, joining the next stream with some friends, what do you mean? If you can clarify what you mean by that, that would be great. Probably not.
I probably won't be streaming for Halloween, unfortunately, mainly because of the fact that I will most likely be up in the Tokyo area at that week. I think I'm going to be helping out at a high school with our students that we have. That is the current plan. So yeah. So that's why I was saying, like, I'll probably stream not next week, but the week after. But then we'll have another week off, and doing things kind of in that vein. So current stream schedule is probably looking like Friday the 24th. And then after that would be Friday, November 7th. And I fully understand living by your calendar app. I do very much a lot of that as well. Like, I have everything kind of put in there so that I know when things are happening, when to expect different things. So yeah, no, I get it. No, I fully understand that. I would probably say I'm in a similar sort of area of my um, memory not always being what it used to be. So close to being done with this underwater portion. It's coming along so well. Just adding those little bits of texture to some of this stuff that's like front and center. I will say I'm looking forward to when all these lands are done, and then when I go to get them printed, because it's going to be really fun to see how they look. I mean, I gotta get good photos of them, especially if I want to do like a little Kickstarter with these. At that point as well, I do have to redesign a little bit of the what's the wording? Redesign a bit of the template and like the border and all that. All right, just so you guys are aware, in about like 15-ish minutes, I will be ending stream. Or actually, you know what? We'll end once I'm done with this under CBIT here, where all that's left to do is the sea urchins. Or if we can get the sea urchins done as well, then great. Add a little fish over there. Looking at the acorn. Yeah, it's coming along. Love it. I'm getting so close to being done with the line art. And then part of my idea is that then, because of how we have stuff, like right here, with that being under there, what I can do is go like this. Send that up. Let's do one more time. So then we're underneath that line right there. And I can go over here and essentially do something like this. Take that and then fill it like this and drop the opacity down. So that way there is some of that stuff. Also, what I want to do as well is use like a dark blue, kind of like this. And then right here, fill that in so that the lines underneath the water are kind of like that dark blue color instead. So yeah, that is kind of where the direction I'm headed with this. Let's go ahead and change that color so that just in case I swap over by accident and use it, I can tell. All right. So I think final area is just going in and adding the sea urchins, which we're just gonna. All right, we're gonna drop this down to 7. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead for this one anyways, copy and paste this one, and then do the so we're gonna go ahead and merge these. All right, and clear that out. And we'll just go ahead and add those last little bit of spikes.
Alright, so once this is done, we're going to go ahead and end stream. Thank you, all of you guys, for coming and hanging out with me as we worked on this. For those of you who have just been vibing and those of you who have been sketching, just know that I appreciate it deeply, and we will be back in 2 weeks with another art stream. So yeah, I will keep you guys posted, and if you're in the Discord, you will be notified next time I'm live. So once again, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. We're just going to go ahead here and like that, clear that out, and there we have it. The undersea portion is fully lined out. So next stream we'll be finishing up the line art and going ahead and starting on the coloring. So I hope to see you there in 2 weeks time. Thank you guys so much, and remember that you are loved.